It's time to go beyond Plus Ultra for another Boku no Hero Academia review.
And I'm here too, I guess.
As you always are, dude.
Maybe I am, maybe I'm not.
What? What do you mean? Are you just a figment of my imagination?
I'm the ghost of your past haunting you.
Ooh, it is almost Halloween.
I'm the zombie resurrected. You're not taking over this channel.
Oh, oh man, this
Now
was a
give me your
good episode.
brains.
This was a good episode.
I mean, look, all right. Any episode that focuses on Bunny Girl with the big thighs is always good.
Um,
Am I wrong? Are you saying that thick thighs don't save lives?
I'm into more thin thighs myself.
Look, man, all right. Gotta pop that head like a grape. That's all I'm saying. And I gotta say, I think the people agree with me.
Uh, uh,
Or at least the Boku fan base, anyway.
Toru is still best girl,
You don't even know what her thighs look like.
but but Toru.
Are you forgetting Mordred? She'd be very upset if you forgot about her.
And you're in.
Did I do this last time? Did I do this exact same thing last time?
Yes,
I feel like I did.
yes. And now I'm broken again in a loop of tsunderes.
And he just recovered too.
Yes. Damn. Damn you! So we have a little flashback on Hawks in the beginning.
Little baby Hawks boy. Apparently, he got chosen at a very young age to be a special hero, quote unquote.
Mm-hmm.
Also, a little bit of back flashback even before that with Tokiyomi, where he like asks what his biggest weakness is, and Hawks is like, "Well, it's fire, probably, because the feathers burn."
Yeah, and it just gives a little reminder about how Hawks can control his feathers and they'll grow back.
Mm-hmm.
And,
Yep.
yeah, and I think we mentioned this, like how they work, because I think I slightly forgot that they were half mentally controlled.
It's either that or it's like a ghost limb almost, you know?
Because they showed scenes from prior episodes where he was saving people with a single feather each to like knock them out of the way of
Yep.
whatever was happening.
Yep. Also points out how he can like sense things through the feathers.
hmm I
So
kind of
that's probably
forgot
how he
that.
knows. Well, I remember he did that as far as like being able to like listen in on people, like in separate rooms.
Mm.
But I didn't know like how I didn't know how that worked insofar as like how his mind is able to perceive like all the information coming in from individual feathers at once, right? Like when he's saving all those people.
Yeah.
That's a lot of fucking work to understand and have your mind comprehend all of that coming in. I know you haven't watched it, but or at least watched that far into it. But when Naruto, right? Naruto had a whole thing of like, oh, shadow clones, right? I'm sure you got that far in.
Yeah, yeah.
So there comes to be this big old revelation that apparently this is something he could have done the whole time, but never actually understood what it was. The memories of the shadow clones, when they poof, go back to him.
Oh, I guess that
So
kind of makes some sort of sense. Like, they are a part of you in some way, or they have enough sentience that they can transfer their knowledge.
well, like, here's the thing. They're almost full on complete sentient. Like, they're a carbon copy.
Do you
Like,
think
almost exactly.
do you think Twice's clones could transfer knowledge back to him?
It didn't seem like it. But that we did discuss that when, you know, in the previous episode, whether or not that would work that way, kind of.
Mm.
Except we were kind of doing it in the reverse, where, like, Was the clone twice the one talking at the end after the original had died or not? Was it his like mental monologue there or not? But no, for Naruto, the more interesting bit is that he physically uses it to multiply his training time. Like,
Smart.
think about it. It allowed him to complete like one of his final techniques in Shippuden was training to a point of like just figure out how to make this work and having like dozens upon dozens of shadow clones working to figure out how to work this technique. But
But
for Hawks, so sorry, go ahead.
but did each of the shadow clones have his exact same power? Or since it was a shadow clone, was it reduced at all?
See, this is where it's a little spotty on that. I want to say they all. Oh shit! I need to watch that. I want to say they all have maybe not his exact same power, but something close.
Like
But the thing
90%?
is, like, yeah, I would say like a good. I don't know. I'd say like a good 10%. Let's say in the case of training, it doesn't really matter.
Okay.
I'm sure he could probably also fluctuate that strength in general on what he
Okay,
needs.
okay. So it's not like they were weaker, so they had a tougher time with
Mm-hmm.
it.
Here's the thing. The way I've always understood it is I assume that it's a 100% exact copy. It's just if it takes a good solid hit, it will disperse itself.
Okay.
So like while it's a solid copy, its staying power is not great. The point is like if all of the clones that he put out when he's doing the whole training shtick happen to like disappear at the same time, can his mind handle the influx of all that information from all of them at once, or how would that pan out? Right? That's kind of the situation Hawks is in. Can he
Yeah.
mentally filter what's important and what's not at the blink of an eye with the sensory power that those feathers give him, or what?
I would say maybe in the beginning he couldn't, but I would say since.
He has been trained since he's
Yeah.
like a toddler, so obviously the training's there.
But what? Is he like in his late 20s, early. How old is Hawks?
I want to say like mid 20s. I want to say like 25 or something. Take a look at the wiki.
That's what I'm doing! 23 currently.
Okay, so I wasn't too far off.
Yeah, but since he had a good 20 years or so of training, I would say yes. Now he can focus on what's important and
I was gonna
what's
say
not.
15.
Okay,
I
15.
was gonna say 15 because I make him like 9 when he gets brought in.
Okay, because you said toddler at first.
I said toddler because he's small and short, but Hawks isn't exactly the tallest hero to begin with anyway. So yeah, I would say at least 15 years of probably training in there with that.
Short people unite.
Then we get a flashback to like Tokiomi and some of the others in the Fat Taxi.
Rejected. Yes, the fat
Shut down.
taxi.
Yes, the most powerful of techniques, the Fat Taxi. I swear Fat Gum's size is varying from episode to episode.
Can he like fatten himself up quickly?
I don't think so from what we've seen of his ability.
Okay, because yeah, it's like sometimes he slims down for certain times of the year, right?
He slims down to use techniques, right? Like his ability is to burn his fat to increase his power. But I think he still has to like normally eat food to fatten up.
Okay, okay.
Well, I don't think he can, at the drop of a dime, fatten himself even more.
Okay, so he doesn't have like a weight gaining quirk that allows him to like gain a pound faster than the normal person.
I don't think so. If that is another part of his quirk, it's not been told to us.
Okay.
At least not that I remember. I'm just realizing the new Bleach season is airing, and I should probably watch that.
Is that what you mentioned earlier?
Yes. And I was
Ah,
just like, oh, maybe we should review that. And now I'm like, wait a minute. You would have to catch up on so much shit.
yeah.
I think you only watched like the first or second seasons.
I think I stopped halfway through the third or fourth.
Uh, that depends if you're counting filler or not. Really,
Oof.
I'm personally not. Like the two main uh arcs of like Substitute Soul Reaper and then Save Rukia, I
Oh,
think is
oh,
where you went off.
no, no, I watched halfway through the Bound arc.
Yeah, that's filler. Bouncer filler. And I'm going to assume that came in around like the Hueco Mundo arc or so, from what I can recall.
That name sounds familiar because I know they had the Bound arc. They went off on something else. Then they came back to the Bound arc, and then I think I stopped watching during that.
Mm-hmm.
So that's why I thought the Bounce were a little bit less fillery than what they you say they are.
I mean, I've said this once before, I'll say it again. I'm pretty sure Bleach has like the most like the best filler content, just the most shittily placed content.
And I'm like 99% sure it was the Bound because it seems like they beat the leader of the Bound or something like that, but he didn't really die, and then it's like, oh, I'll be back. Smash cut to something else, and then I'm guessing like they came back to the Bound, and then I stopped doing that.
Yeah, they probably went back to like, let's go to the actual thing again, because we've got new episodes for that. Oh, we ran out of episodes. Let's go back to the bounce, I guess.
And then I guess, yeah, during the second Bound, I dropped off because it changed time slots until like 2:30 in the morning, and I'm like, I don't want to stay up.
Gotta stay up for that, man. Come on. Oh boy, 3 a.m. Where's your dedication?
Oh my god. Yuki would hate me.
She would draw you very badly and then smack you when you insult her drawing.
Is Yuki a tsundere?
Yes.
It never fails.
To be fair, I still personally like Rukia better than any other female in that series.
And back to Boku no Hero!
Oh man, just wait. Did you ever meet Hiyori in that series? Did you ever meet that character?
No?
You want the real tsundere? That's the real tsundere. Fucking Ruki is like nothing compared to her.
Yeah, so,
Anyway, back to Boku. Like you,
yes!
complete sidetrack. Anyway, Fat comes running away. He's like, "Oh yeah, the heroes are gonna, circle. After you guys took out all the wide-ranging guys, they're gonna hit their own allies if they try that again, and we're just gonna close the net basically on them."
Wait a minute, is that Hawks fighting Dobby?
Well, I don't know if we know that for sure. Like, if that's what Tokiomi's thinking.
Mm.
He might know that that's Dobby just because he's seen the blue flames before.
And Dobby...
Whether or not he's aware it's Hawks or not, he doesn't know.
And Dobby is super pissed that Twice died.
I don't know if he is or not. I mean, the guy was willing to kill him himself there for a minute.
But he has no tear ducts.
Oh yeah, they were burned away. And as Hawks is Hawks is getting stomped on.
Honk honk.
Yeah, he's like, "What? How did you know my name?" A name that apparently has been wiped clean. We don't get to hear what's said, but I'm still leaning toward this is Endeavor's son, and as such, with Hawks being such a big Endeavor fan, they may have met.
I'm guessing that Dobby says, because I'm, and just like, or reveals how he knows.
Yeah, because Hawks says both Dobby and Shigaraki are the only people he couldn't find a background on. All the other League members he's been able to like decipher and figure out where they're from. They're the only ones that have a wiped past. And if Dobby was thought to be dead at one point, makes a lot of sense that you wouldn't be able to figure out who he is if he was thought to have been dead and then comes back with a separate name and shit and a new appearance. We also find out that Dobby's got what sounds to be a completely separate goal than Shigaraki's. As shocking as it is, because he's been very quiet about it, he seems to very much believe in what Stain had to say.
Yeah.
And if we're going with the whole he's Endeavor's son theory, makes even more sense, considering his father was the number 2 hero, and his father either nearly killed him or outright killed him for a bit. Because he starts going off about the heroes being fake.
Yeah.
And the fact that Hawks actually killed twice is just cementing that fact even more in his head, I would think.
That, like, you're not a hero. Heroes don't kill. Villains
Yeah.
kill.
Then again, we get that flashback to, like, Stain and him saying, like, All Might would have to kill him to stop him.
And that would prove All Might isn't a hero.
That would be the idea, I guess, yeah. See if All Might himself is a fake.
And I slightly forgot about Stain.
Yeah, it's weird, because he hasn't been talked about much. Like, definitely in the last season, maybe 2 seasons.
And because Stain was season 2, right?
Yes, I'm trying to remember if it was early or late season 2, and I can't recall for sure. I want to say it was later in season 2. Yeah, because the first one was it? I'm trying to think, because wasn't the season 2 all about getting Bakugo back, like him getting abducted and then getting him back?
I believe so.
So it might have been like first part of season 3 then. So yeah, he hasn't been talked about since then. Been a good couple seasons. Like there might have been a side mention from Toga maybe, but that'd be about it.
Yeah. And then he does a giant blast of blue fire and says, like, hey, if you live or die, I don't really care.
Yeah, we'll find out. I have a feeling Hawks isn't dead. Whether or not he's outright, able to fight anymore is up in the air. Who knows? But I don't think he's dead.
So he's not a roast bird at this point.
I do not think he is a roast chicken, no.
So we flash to the hospital to see Endeavor taking out more Nomus. Or at least attempting to.
Yeah, Eraserhead shutting him down, getting blasted through.
Endeavor helps out Crust.
Yep. Because the regeneration's too strong. Crust can't outright eliminate him because of the regeneration. Right up until Aizawa shows up and shuts down that quirk.
Yeah.
Meanwhile, Mirko's still fighting 3 of these Nomu still. And she's like, fuck it. I can't keep this up. They're getting better. Like, they're fully waking up. And the target's the old man. So she's like, peace out. Only for them to grab her.
And I thought it was woman who had the hair quirk, but it's not. It's a different one.
No, it is a separate one. Unless that one is dead and it's another one. And there were 2 of them that had this thing going on.
And it's not really... Well, I call it a hair quirk, but it seems to be like some kind of tentacle on the back of his head.
Could be bone? It's really hard to say.
I'm just gonna keep calling it a hair quirk until I'm proven wrong.
Probably won't get proven wrong about anything, honestly. Because they'll probably die before it tells you what it is.
Yeah?
But yeah, Mirko gets bitten in the leg, grabbed by the hair, literally rips her own hair out of the back of her head to pull herself through, and loses a chunk of her leg.
Yeah, because, like, doesn't one of the Nomus, like, pierce her with something?
As she's going in for the kick on Shigaraki's tank, yeah. Because she comes in, gets through the tunnel, gets to the tank, and is going to do a kick. Oh, I wanted to mention this before, and I completely, missed on it. I love her named techniques, by the way. They're all called Luna, referencing the rabbit pounding mochi on the moon. I love that. It's a great touch. But as soon as she gets to the tank, she has this, realization of, oh, fuck. We cannot wake this up. Just primal... As she calls it, rabbit instincts taking over of just, we can't let this wake up. This is bad.
She is better than a rabbit in any way, so she must have better rabbit instincts than a normal rabbit, I guess.
What's that? My bunny sense is tingling.
Barney girl, does whatever a Barney does.
Jumps around, kicks your face.
Eats a carrot, says, "What's up, Doc?"
Jesus Christ.
Do you think she has an encyclopedic knowledge of carrot recipes?
She makes sure she always carries a sign that says duck season behind her back in Hammer's face. Alright, so when do we meet the duck hero and we just have a Bugs and Daffy moment with some hunter villain?
I don't know, but if they did have a duck hero, I'm guessing it would pop up in one of those, oh crap, Fortamas, which is like the 4-panel Japanese comics.
Mm-hmm.
That's like extra stuff in the back of a manga sometimes. Yeah,
Duck season, wabbit season, duck season, wabbit season, wabbit season, duck season, fire! Somehow, like, he's got a beak mask on and it's twisted behind him when the smoke clears.
Damn it, Mirko!
The beak's somehow talking, of course you mean, this means war. I want that so bad now. I just want to see Mirko and some random duck hero going at it.
Can it be the duck hero from, The Vampire Dies in No Time? It's the duck hunter from The Vampire Dies in No Time.
I'm sorry, I got one more. The Sasquatch student comes walking by with one of those, like, fold-over signs that you wear that says "Eat it, Joe's." Oh, god damn it. I love it.
I have a part-time job now.
I make a good mascot, apparently. And I get free burgers out of it.
So backup arrives. Endeavor, Eraserhead, DJ... Mike?
Present Mike.
Because he used the DJ punch, I thought he was DJ Mike for a little bit.
It's been a minute since we've seen him.
Yeah, I forget his name.
Yeah, we have, right before that, Mirko goes for the kick, and we have those, like, hair tendrils, or whatever you want to call them, pierce her literally, I think, through her shoulder and her leg, stopping the kick from having as much power as it needs to break it.
But it does do a little bit of damage to the holding tank.
It does crack it, but it wasn't able to completely smash it.
And the doctor is freaking out, as he normally does.
He has the best freak-out faces.
Yes.
Also, Mirko's a badass. This is very clear.
I guess she is.
Look, man, she's fighting. She has a literally, like, destroyed arm right now. Not to mention how many slashes and pierces through her body.
Okay, and, like, blood running down the side of her. Okay, she is a badass.
That entire side of her abdomen's been, like, shredded.
Okay, she is a badass. I'll admit it.
But, yep, President Mike, what's his name? Aizawa, what's that other dude's name? Endeavor's in there, but who's the other guy? Like Laser Eye or something? What was it?
I think it's X-Cross.
That might be. But yeah, all four of them pop in to try and help take out the Nomus. Unfortunately, because one of them, the female, has realized how Aizawa's ability works, she's managing to stay out of his eyesight to not get shut down.
Yeah.
The other three, however, are locked in and Aizawa's stuck. He can't exactly move. So he sends ahead Present Mike and X-Cross.
Oh, X-Less. I'm sorry.
There you go, X-Less. He sends them ahead.
He has, like, some laser quirk?
Yeah, some eye laser quirk, but it's only in one eye.
Interesting.
But he sends them ahead while he's locking down the other three so they can take them down. Meanwhile, Mirko's still going at it, trying to, like, destroy the thing, only for those hair tendrils to come back in and yank her back out. At this point, though, the cracks in the tank are starting to leak. And she gets whipped back into Endeavor, who is on his way in there. And Endeavor basically is like, alright, quick triage, gonna cauterize your wounds because you're bleeding pretty bad. I owe you a couple of things now. And she's like, did I do something? I don't even know what I did. And I don't know if that's just from like the blood loss or if that's just her I don't give a shit attitude.
I think both.
Could be both. But Mirko relays the whole like, all right, electricity seems to be what woke up the Nomu. We can't let the thing that Shigaraki's become get out. Meanwhile, Present Mike makes his way in there and blasts the tank apart, and Shigaraki comes falling to the ground. And of course, the doctor's losing his mind.
And he's semi-comatose because his heart stopped, but he's in suspended animation.
Yeah, which in this case, I'm not sure what that means or how it's done. It could be via quirk. I'm not sure.
Yes, saying comatose was a bad choice of word, but he kind of is comatose.
Yeah, but he has no heartbeat. That's the other thing. He has no heartbeat.
Yeah, okay, so suspended animation would be like the best way to
Probably,
describe it.
yeah. Because you can't even say, like, he's been cryogenically frozen, because he's not frozen at all.
Yeah.
I have to assume it was done via a quirk somehow. That said, we learn a little something interesting, and this is something I've had a sneaking suspicion about ever since this whole, like, manually moving quirks around thing.
Mm-hmm.
Apparently, you can duplicate quirks.
I thought that was...
As far as I can remember, it's never been stated. But it's been implied, especially when we saw the one Nomu using twice his ability.
I'm trying to think, was there somebody who could copy quirks?
I don't think anyone could copy it. You only had the ability of... unless there's a secondary ability that All For One has that we're not aware of. But yeah, the only thing we knew about was All For One being able to absorb and transfer quirks. And One For All being able to add another person's quirk to itself. Like, from its host.
And didn't Toga kind of have the ability to copy somebody's quirk as she copied their appearance, or not?
I don't think so. As far as I can recall, I don't think she's... Oh, no, she did! She copied, in the previous season, her quirk evolved to allow her to do that.
Okay.
She drank the blood from Ochako, and she was able to use the anti-gravity ability she had.
That's what maybe I was thinking of.
Yeah, up until last season, she was not able to do that. That was a new thing she found out she could do.
But there's like some sneaking part of my memory that's like, hey, copying quirks was mentioned before, but maybe it was like implied, like you were saying, and I'm just...
It was definitely implied in this season, if not outright shown, but it's never been stated. I don't think prior to this season whatsoever, or even shown.
But there's part of me that says it was mentioned last season during the My Villain arc.
Unless the doctor said something, but I don't recall.
Yeah.
Either way, thing is, what we find out here is that what All For One has been running around with, at least for the duration of the series we've been watching, has been a duplicate of his quirk. I think the real question comes down to is whether or not those duplicates are exact or slightly weakened or not compared to the originals.
Because the Doctor has an anti-aging quirk that makes him live twice as long as normal people, but it takes away all athletic ability.
Yep.
Just like the real Dr. Eggman.
Yeah, you know what? He's getting more and more eggy the more you think about it. I'm seeing some good yolks up in here.
Do 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 do.
No wonder Eggman would always fly around in some machine. He has no athletic ability.
Oh my god. Yeah, so Shigaraki's there, still sprawled out on the floor, and we enter his mind.
What? No. We missed a bit here. Present Mike grabs the doctor, who's kind of just like kind of gone hysterical now, and is dragging him out to try and get him to stop the elite Nomus. And Exless is left there to watch Shigaraki.
Oh, and the doctor is doing a lot of.
Exposition!
That's the word. I couldn't think of it.
Exposition for how he ended up being with All for One, because he was ridiculed back in the day. Because of his whole quirks are going to eventually go out of control theory getting mocked and ridiculed. Which, hey, I know 2 quirks that could fucking fix that problem right quick, now don't we?
Eraserhead?
That would only be a temporary fix.
Aries? No, that would also be temporary.
What if you used All for One's technique and just took the quirk away and put it somewhere else?
Where?
I don't know, the doctor's got a bunch of fucking, like, capsules filled with quirks, apparently. And whatever those things take.
So, like, All for One would remove everybody's quirk.
Yep.
But what about the next generation, then? Wouldn't they...
Well, that's the next question. If the quirk is removed, can they pass it down anymore? Can they pass down quirks at all? Like, whether it's their own or just from the genetic makeup anymore at all.
Huh.
I'm assuming not.
And who's the other one? You said there were 2.
One for all. Pass that quirk around. It'll absorb the other quirk. I don't know if it'll take it away or not. I'm not sure about that part. But it definitely, once it left All Might, like, he only had, like, little fragments left of his power that he could use at a time before it burned out.
Huh.
I'm assuming it would includes when it One for All absorbs the other quirk, whether that was like Black Whip or whatever, and it leaves the user with a weakened form of their previous ability.
Huh.
Even more so, you know, if All for One and One for All, which, shocker, I have a feeling this might happen, eventually combine the quirks into one.
Oh.
I've got this feeling that at some point that's going to happen, just partly based on the nomenclature.
One for All and All for One?
Reverse them, but yes.
All for One and One for All?
There you go.
Okay.
Yeah, that's the Three Musketeers saying. So yeah, we get to find out a little bit about quirks being a duplicate thing. Little backstory on the doctor. And then, yeah, we get into Shigaraki's mindscape, which is like fragments of memories and just shattered stone hands. And then we find out from a little quote from the doctor that Shigaraki has the original All for One quirk. I'm assuming he was completely unaware of this until in this mindscape he unlocks it by walking up to All for One. After every single member of his family that we are aware of tries to hold him back in his mind.
So, he's the next All for One.
Yep. Shocker! Deku got it, and now it's just the same thing on the other side. Now, how long he's had the original, who's to say? I'm assuming since at least the time that the series has started.
Okay.
I don't know how much farther back he would have had it at that point.
Here is my guess that All for One wants to do some kind of, this may sound dumb, but some kind of like soul transfer quirk that he has that he didn't allow Shigaraki to have, and he will send his soul into Shigaraki so he could have his youth back.
See, I think we've discussed this already. Because I'm fairly certain I brought this up a few seasons ago. I like this idea.
Oh.
Especially because, as far as we know, there's no immortality quirk. The closest we have is doubling your lifespan that the doctor had. What I find even more interesting is just the unlucky happenstance that just a random cable sparks, waking Shigaraki up.
Yeah?
Especially when we have Exless have this almost weird throwaway line of like, what's that machine for? And it's off on the side, like glowing purple.
Yeah.
Like, I thought that specifically was going to wake him up or something, or that the doctor had like another remote backup plan or something.
Mm-hmm.
No, it's a random cable that sparks.
So Shiggy's waking up again.
Jiggy's waking up. It's not gonna be good.
Oh shit.
And it seems pretty certain, thanks to this preview, that Gigantomachia is on the move.
Yeah. Since there was a shot of him earlier in the episode looking at a small, well, normal size radio, tiny in his hands.
Mm-hmm.
So probably getting.
I mean, like, even in the preview, we see Shigaraki holding what looks to be like a little transmitter.
So, will Gigantomachia now listen to Shigaraki since he is.
That's what happened at the end of season 5.
Okay.
That was the culmination of My Villain Academia.
Okay.
You know, aside from his quirk evolving.
Yeah. So, this is going to be interesting next week.
Yep. Everybody seems to realize in next episode that shit's gone sideways.
I don't know exactly what will happen besides, oh no, we need to stop Shigaraki at all costs. And
Also, I get points. I just want to point out, I get points. Because I called Gigantomachia moving. I feel like it was obvious, but I'll still take obvious points.
Obvious points are obvious.
Yes.
So it's going to be a big old fight next week, I guess.
Big brawl.
Yeah, and
I'm gonna pull in everyone, I assume, for this. Like, even the kids are gonna have to go back in.
do you think this will last, like this fight would last like 3 episodes?
I don't know. Because we still gotta flash back and forth between whatever's going on at the hospital and whatever's going on at the base with Machia.
But isn't the hospital where it's at currently?
Currently, yes, is where Shigaraki's at.
Okay, because when you said flash back to the hospital, I'm like, but we're already at the hospital.
So yeah, I meant back to the villain base.
Okay.
I think they'll have to do that, and the other problem would be, how are we focusing on fights? Are we doing individuals? What's going on here? Because I feel like it's just going to be a massive melee, and who the fuck knows whether Maki is just going to kill off anyone that's in his way by accident. Because he only listens to Shigaraki. He's not going to care about anyone else around him, whether that's, fellow villains or not.
Yeah.
And without Eraserhead there, I don't know how they're going to shut down his ability or hold him down. Although, that will be fun, actually, because we'll get to see Mount Lady try and fight him for sure.
Ooh.
She can match his size.
Yeah.
In fact, potentially she could get bigger. I don't know what her max size is. I'd be curious, actually.
So, all this and more next time on Boku no Hero Academia.
Kaiju fight! Kaiju fight! Kaiju fight!
Woohoo! Later.
Bye.